Versace.
Versace, 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 Versace,
Versace.
Versace, Versace,
Versace. 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 Versace.
Versace, Versace,
Versace. Versace.
Versace,
Versace.
Versace, Versace,
Versace.
Versace,
Versace.
When you think about Gianni Versace, I bet you picture like all those amazing runway shows. That Medusa head that just oozes glamour. But what if I told you that this fashion icon, this emperor of style, was actually a really shy, private person? Kind of strange, huh?
Yeah, it really is. You gotta wonder how all that creativity came from such a reserved guy.
It's almost like his inner world, fueled all that outward expression. And that's what we're going to explore in this deep dive. We're taking a cue from our YouTube series, Icons of Italy, and really going deep on Gianni Versace and his family. We're talking about his humanity, his rise to fame, and some of those shocking moments in his life.
And we can't forget about the impact of his death. When he was murdered in Miami back in July 1997, it wasn't just the fashion world that felt it, it was global. Like a bright light went out.
It felt so unfair, didn't it? Like a force of nature was suddenly just gone. So for this deep dive, we've got a lot to work with. We've got interviews with Gianni himself, analyses of his career, and a lot about his family and their impact on fashion. We really want to understand what made him tick, the influence of his family, and how the Versace name became what it is today.
So Gianni Versace was born in Reggio Calabria. Just imagine him, this little kid, watching his mom, a dressmaker, at work. It's gotta be where it all started. And then he moves to Milan, the fashion capital of Italy, in the early 70s. That's a big step.
Huge step, right? And he didn't do it alone. The Versace brand, from the very beginning in 1978, was family affair. His brother, Santo, took care of the business side. That's what let Gianni's creativity actually flourish. And then his sister, Donatella, started with accessories and became this crucial creative partner.
It really shows how a family, even with different talents and personalities, can achieve something amazing when they share a vision.
Totally. And for Gianni, it wasn't just about the money. Even early on, he really cared about how people dressed, how they presented themselves to the world. He saw it as a form of education, like a way to communicate and empower yourself.
It's interesting, makes you think about how we see fashion today. Is it just about trends, or can it be more than that?
And when it comes to the Versace style, there's no mistaking it. It was bold, sexy, and full of color. I mean, we're talking sophisticated bondage gear, TVC baby doll dresses, silver mesh togas. It definitely pushed boundaries.
And it wasn't just about shocking people. It was a time when people wanted to express themselves more freely. He was challenging the norms, making a statement.
He said he wanted to challenge our sensibilities and get us to strut in a playful, provocative way. But some critics thought his designs were vulgar. You know what, though? Gianni didn't seem to care.
That tells you something. He had such confidence in his vision. He knew what he wanted to say, and he wasn't backing down, even if some people didn't get it.
And he wasn't stuck in the past. He loved celebrity culture, pop music, and even modern materials like plastic and metal. He was mixing the old and the new, always with an eye on the future.
He really understood what was happening in culture at that moment. He knew how to connect different forms of art, and he wasn't afraid to experiment. That's what made his designs so fresh and exciting.
And he was a marketing genius. His ads weren't just about selling clothes, they were pop culture events. Really striking, memorable images. You could still picture them today, right?
Right. Before the internet, those images were how people got to know Versace. He knew how to create desire and make his brand stand out.
And let's not forget how he revolutionized the runway. He turned fashion shows into these huge theatrical spectacles, like rock concerts or the Oscars of fashion.
It became an experience, not just a presentation. You weren't just looking at clothes, you were part of a show. And that made a big difference.
And the supermodels, he knew exactly what he was doing there. Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, Naomi Campbell. He paid them top dollar and made them global icons. The fashion industry became obsessed with celebrities, and it's still that way today.
He completely changed the game. Those models became stars, and that only made Versace even bigger.
And who can forget that 1991 show with the supermodels lip-syncing to George Michael's Freedom? Those brightly colored dresses. It was a total cultural phenomenon, even before social media.
Pure magic. It was fashion, music, and celebrity all rolled into one. And if you're enjoying this dive into Italian icons, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more.
Absolutely iconic. But behind all the glamour, the 4 houses, the 16 Picassos, Gianni was a different person in private. People close to him said he was shy and didn't like to reveal much of himself to the world.
It's almost like he was two different people. Maybe his designs were a way for him to express things he couldn't say out loud.
He said he was still that little boy who loved to play with fashion and that he never took himself too seriously. You have to wonder how he handled all of that pressure, all that fame.
He must have had a way to stay grounded, to keep things in perspective. And that passion for fashion, that's what kept him going.
And for all his fame, he never forgot his family. Donatella, who was not only his sister, but his muse and his partner, Antonio D'Amico. They were a constant in his life.
It shows you what was important to him. Family was his anchor, his support system, especially in a world as crazy as fashion.
And he loved kids. He was really close to Donatella's kids, Allegra and Daniel. It's good to remember these things, you know? It makes them more human, more relatable.
Exactly. No matter how famous someone is, they still have a personal life, people they care about. That's important to remember.
But fame has a dark side too. There was a lot of pressure on Gianni to keep innovating, to outdo himself with each new collection. And there were even rumors of tension between him and Donatella.
It's natural, right? Especially in a creative partnership, the pressure to stay on top, to keep reinventing yourself, that can get to anyone.
And then there were the tax problems, the investigation into some of his antiques. The guy couldn't catch a break.
It just shows the downside of success and wealth. Running a global empire is no joke.
And then in 1995, he was diagnosed with a rare cancer. His friends begged him to slow down, but he wouldn't. He just kept pushing.
That's dedication, that's passion. He wanted to keep creating, keep living his life to the fullest no matter what.
And then July 1997, the shooting on his doorstep in Miami. It still feels unreal, even all these years later. What was the reaction like?
It was a shock to everyone. The fashion world lost a genius, and the world lost a truly unique person. It was senseless and heartbreaking.
They quickly found the murderer, Andrew Keenan, a serial killer. But there are still rumors about his death, even today. Mafia involvement, 2 bullets to the back of the head, a dead bird found at the scene. What do you make of all that?
It's the kind of stuff that gets people talking, but investigators didn't believe those theories. They focused on Cunanan. But for those who knew Gianni, the why, the real reason behind it all, that may always be a mystery.
It's a tragic ending to an incredible life. But Gianni Versace's legacy is undeniable. He brought something new, a sense of fun, to the fashion world. What do you think his biggest contribution was?
He had this amazing ability to understand what people wanted, how they wanted to express themselves through clothes. He changed how we see fashion shows, how we think about celebrity. His influence is still huge today.
And his legacy continued after his death. Donatella took over as creative director, and she's done an amazing job. She kept the Versace spirit alive while bringing in her own vision. She's even stepping down as creative director in March 2025 to focus on being chief brand ambassador. It's a new chapter for the brand.
She showed amazing strength and talent. It couldn't have been easy to take over after such a loss, but she managed to keep the brand relevant and exciting. And if you want to learn more about these Italian icons, stick with us. We'll tell you where to find more info at the end.
And who could forget that retrospective at the Met that really cemented his place in art history?
Absolutely. It was a celebration of his creativity, his innovation, and his impact on fashion.
As we wrap up this deep dive, it's incredible to think about all the different sides of Gianni Versace. The flamboyance and the shyness, the global fame and the importance of family, his amazing, sometimes shocking designs, and then that tragic, sudden end.
He changed the fashion world forever, not just with his designs, but with his whole approach to fashion shows and celebrity.
For those of you who love Italy, its culture, its people, we hope this deep dive into Gianni Versace's life gave you a better understanding of this icon. And if you want to learn more about other fascinating Italians, check out our Icons of Italy YouTube channel.
Think about this. How would Versace have handled today's world with the internet and social media? What would he create? What kind of spectacle would he come up with?
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more explorations of Italian culture and history. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back soon with another captivating life.
See you then.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next videos.